You know that feeling of frustration when you're driving, it's pouring rain, and you're just yelling at your car to change the playlist?
Oh, yeah.
Or that moment you're typing just furiously into a customer service chat trying to find a package, and you're just praying a thing on the other end gets what you mean.
We do it every day. It's become completely second nature. We just sort of assume the machine understands human.
We do.
But if you actually stop and think about what's happening behind the screen, it's kind of mind-bending.
It really is. I mean,
Yeah.
how does a pile of circuits know that when I type Apple, I mean the tech company, and not, the fruit in my lunch bag?
Right.
That distinction between just noise and actual meaning, that is exactly what we're digging into today. We're looking at natural language processing, or NLP.
And honestly, the sources we have for this deep dive are just fascinating because they completely strip away the magic. They show us the math.
The nuts and bolts.
Exactly. We're going to look under the hood of how AI understands us, how something like Google's Gemini is changing the game with multimodality, and the slightly unnerving way this tech is deciding who gets hired for jobs.
Okay. That last part, the robot recruiter.
Yeah.
That one definitely got my attention.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into the weeds, we have to make a really specific distinction that I think a lot of people miss. We sort of lump voice recognition and NLP together.
Into the same bucket.
But looking at the technical breakdown, they're two totally different functions, aren't they?
They are. And it's a huge misconception. The best way to think about it is the difference between hearing and listening.
Okay.
Voice recognition is just the ears. Its only job is to turn sound waves from your voice into digital text. It doesn't know what the words mean. It just knows you said them.
So it's basically a stenographer. It's just typing out the sounds, but it's not processing the story.
Precisely. NLP, on the other hand, is the brain. It takes that raw text and tries to figure out context and intent and sentiment. It's the part that knows if you say, I'm looking for a club, you might want a sandwich, a golf driver, or a night out dancing. It all depends on the rest of the sentence.
That is the crucial distinction, ears versus brain. So for today, our mission is to basically open up that brain. We're going to break down exactly how AI translates our messy human language into something a computer can actually understand.
And we've got a perfect example to start with from our sources. It's a breakdown of a very simple prompt. Write an exciting slogan for a new coffee shop.
Right, which to you and me, that's a crystal clear instruction. We know what a slogan is, we know what coffee is, we know what exciting feels like.
But to a computer, initially that's just noise. It's raw data. So for the AI to understand it, it has to go through this rigorous 8-step process called text pre-processing. It's like an assembly line.
Okay, let's walk through that assembly line. Step one is usually cleaning, right?
Right. Computers are incredibly literal. To a computer, a capital W and a lowercase w are two totally different characters. So step one just creates consistency. Usually it converts everything to lowercase.
So write becomes right. Simple enough. Then you have step two, tokenization, which sounds like we're at an arcade.
Yeah, but in data science, it just means chopping the sentence up. It breaks the text into individual units or tokens.
Okay.
So instead of one long string, you have these separate blocks. Right. An exciting slogan. This lets the computer analyze each piece on its own.
But I imagine not all those pieces are useful, like words like "and" or "for." They must just clog up the gears.
They do. And that's step 3, filtering. The AI identifies and just removes what we call stop words, the grammatical filler that doesn't carry much meaning.
So a sentence shrinks down to just the core concepts.
Exactly. Right. Exciting, slogan, new, coffee, shop.
Efficient. It's like decluttering. But step 4 is where the sources got really interesting for me. Stemming. This feels like where the computer actually starts to interpret language, not just copy it.
It is. Stemming is all about reduction, getting to the root. In English, we have eating, eats, and ate.
To us, that's all the same action.
Right, but to a computer, those look like 3 totally different words. Stemming just chops off the suffixes to get to the core concept.
So in our example, exciting would just become excite.
Exactly, because whether you say exciting, excited, or excites, the core idea is excite. The machine needs the concept, not the grammar.
Got it. So now we've just got this bag of root words. What does it do with them?
Step 5 is part of speech tagging. It labels them. It identifies excite is being used as an adjective, slogan is a noun, coffee is a noun.
So doing the sentence diagramming we all hated in middle school.
It really is, just at light speed. And it needs that structure to do step 6, which is probably the most important one for context, named entity recognition, NER.
This is the apple versus apple problem we talked about, figuring out what the nouns actually are in the real world.
Exactly. The AI has to recognize that coffee shop isn't just two random nouns next to each other. It identifies coffee shop as a single entity, a business type, a location. That frames the whole request.
And finally, it has to know the vibe. The user asks for an exciting slogan.
That's step 7, sentiment analysis. It looks at the stem excite and tags it. Is this positive, negative, neutral? In this case, it's clearly positive.
So after all that cleaning, tokenizing, filtering, stemming, tagging, NER, and sentiment analysis, step 8 is intent. The computer finally puts it all together.
Right. User wants to generate text, topic, business coffee shop, tone, positive, and it does all of that in a fraction of a millisecond.
It really does demystify the whole magic of AI. It's not thinking like we do. It's incredibly rigorous high-speed sorting.
It's high-speed bureaucracy. But when you apply that to the real world, the scale becomes, well, unimaginable. And that's where we see the real business value.
Which brings us to the chatbot revolution. The source material we have highlights Delta Airlines as a pioneer here. Now, I know we all have, let's say, mixed feelings about customer service bots. We've all been stuck in that. I didn't catch that loop.
We have. But the technology has moved so far beyond those early clunky scripts. I mean, Delta isn't just using this for "is my flight on time" anymore. They're using sophisticated NLP to handle really complex logistics.
The notes mention things like rebooking flights during storms, arranging wheelchair assistance. That surprised me. That seems like it would need a human touch.
It often does, but just think about the math on a bad weather day. A major hub closes, 500 flights get canceled, you suddenly have 50,000 angry passengers all trying to call at once.
A human call center can't handle that. The system just collapses.
It can't, so the NLP system is the only thing that keeps the lights on. It doesn't care if it's talking to one person or 50,000.
It's an issue of bandwidth.
Exactly. The AI can parse the intent, I need a rebook, I need my bags, and just execute the transaction for thousands of people instantly. It frees up the human agents to handle the really messy emotional problems.
So it's not just about saving money on salaries, it's about simple viability in a crisis.
Correct. And companies aren't just using this to talk to you, they're using it to listen to everyone.
This is that sentiment analysis thing again, right? Reading the room.
Yes. Imagine trying to read every single tweet, Instagram caption, Facebook comment, and Reddit thread about a massive brand like Nike. It's impossible for a human team.
But these tools can scan millions of posts in real time.
Right, so they can see, oh, people really hate this new flavor, or this new ad campaign is a huge hit. It detects trends and mood shifts basically instantly. It's like a dashboard for the global mood.
A very loud, very chaotic mood most of the time.
Indeed.
While we're on that topic, I want to pivot to something that feels a bit more hopeful. The accessibility side of things. This is where NLP stops being just a business tool and becomes a genuine lifeline.
Absolutely. The digital world is built on text and images. If you have visual or motor impairments, that world has, historically been a walled garden. NLP is breaking those walls down.
The source mentioned alt text. I see that option when I upload a photo, but tell us what's actually happening there with the AI.
So alt text is a description of an image. Historically, a human had to write it so a screen reader could describe the picture to someone who is visually impaired. If no one wrote it, the screen reader just said image.
Which is useless.
Totally useless. But now, AI can look at a photo, identify the entities, 2 people hiking sunset, and generate that description automatically. It opens up the visual web.
That's massive. And there was another example that felt like it was straight out of science fiction, combining voice commands with eye tracking.
Yeah, this is for individuals with severe motor impairments. The tech tracks exactly where your eyes are looking on the screen, so you can look at a specific button or a paragraph, and then give a voice command like zoom in or select.
And because of NLP, the computer understands the command based on where your eyes are looking.
Right. It connects the visual focus with the spoken intent. It grants a level of autonomy that just wasn't possible before. It really highlights that this tech isn't just about catchy coffee slogans. It's about access.
That integration of sight, sound, and text, that feels like the perfect segue to the next generation of this stuff. We have to talk about Google Gemini.
This is the big shift. We are moving from language models to multimodal models.
Okay, break that down. Multimodal sounds like marketing jargon, but the implications described in the research are pretty huge.
It just means the AI isn't only a text processor anymore. Before, you had an AI for images or an AI for text. They didn't really talk to each other. Gemini processes code, audio, images, and text all at the same time.
So it's not just looking at a photo and saying, this is a fridge. It can reason about what's in the fridge.
Exactly. You can show it a picture of your open refrigerator and ask, what can I cook with this? It identifies the ingredients, visual data cross-references them with recipes, text data, and gives you an answer. It's synthesizing senses.
Now, for the listener who's thinking, okay, cool, but how do I actually use this without getting burned? The sources point out some really specific features in Gemini that address the elephant in the room, hallucinations.
Right. The AI tendency to just confidently make things up. Gemini has a double check feature. It's a little G button below the response.
I love this. The AI is fact-checking itself.
It is. It runs a Google search on its own output to verify it. And the color coding is key. If it highlights a sentence in green, that means the search found other sources that agree. It's likely a fact.
And if it's orange?
Orange is your caution flag. It means the search found conflicting info, or maybe nothing at all. If you see orange, you need to go verify it yourself.
That color coding is such a simple but really necessary change. Now, there's one more warning label we need to talk about, and it's privacy. The notes were really explicit about the difference between the free version and the paid ones.
This is critical. If you are using the free public version of Gemini or ChatGPT, any of them, you have to assume that everything you type is public.
Because it's learning from you, right?
Yes. Your inputs can be used to train the next version of the model. The source material gave this really specific, scary example of an HR employee drafting a pregnancy accommodation letter in a free chatbot.
Oof. Putting private medical data and employee names into a public learning model.
Exactly. That private info is now potentially part of its database. So if you're at work, use the advanced or education versions that have privacy guarantees. If you're at home on the free one, never type anything you wouldn't want printed on a billboard.
That's a good rule of thumb. Okay, speaking of HR and scary scenarios, let's move to our final segment, the career gatekeeper.
This is where NLP really hits home for a lot of people. The way we find jobs has just fundamentally changed, and NLP is the engine.
Right. It used to be a human stack. You'd mail a resume, a person would physically hold it, maybe spill coffee on it.
That world is gone. Today, nearly every major company uses an applicant tracking system, or ATS. But they aren't just filing cabinets now, they are NLP filters. No human is going to see your resume until the AI says it's okay.
So the robot is the bouncer at the club.
And it's a strict bouncer. The AI is scanning for semantic matches. The source material has a great example about keywords. If the job description asks for a nursing certification and you write registered nurse license,
an older system might miss that those are the same thing.
it might. And while modern NLP should catch it, the advice from the experts is clear. Don't risk it, you have to optimize. Mirror the language in the job posting exactly because the AI is looking for a match percentage.
This has led to this bizarre arms race. The sources list tools like Zeddy, Resume Genius. Basically, we are now using AI to write our resumes.
So that another AI can read them. Yes, it's AI talking to AI. We're just the vessel for the keywords. But if you think that's impersonal, just wait until the interview stage.
The asynchronous video interview. I've heard about these. You don't talk to a person, you just record video answers to questions on a screen.
Right. It's super efficient for the company. They can screen thousands of candidates without scheduling a single call. But here's where the NLP gets really advanced. It's not just transcribing your answer.
It's analyzing the video itself.
It's analyzing your facial expression, your body language, the tone of your voice, the pauses before you answer. It is building a profile on you based on your physical performance and your verbal cues.
That feels intense. It's analyzing my face.
Yes. It's looking for indicators of confidence or engagement or hesitation. It's trying to predict your suitability based on patterns it learned from people they hired before.
But that raises some obvious questions. I mean, what if I'm just awkward on camera? Or I have a facial tic? What if I'm just not a performer?
Yeah. And that's the challenge. The algorithm is optimizing for a specific pattern. If you don't match that pattern, if you don't look at the camera the right way or use the right keywords, you could be filtered out before a human ever even knows you exist.
It's a profound shift. We've gone from it's who you know to it's how well you know the algorithm.
That is the reality of the modern job hunt. It requires a whole new set of skills, not just doing the job, but signaling to the machine that you can do the job.
Wow. Okay, so we have covered a massive amount of ground today.
We really have.
We started with the coffee shop, breaking down that 8-step assembly line of cleaning and stemming and tagging that turns our language into structured data.
Then we saw that data at work-scaling customer service for an airline, using eye tracking to open up the web for people with disabilities.
We looked at the future with Gemini's multimodality connecting text, image, and sound, and we learned to look for that little green highlight and to definitely respect the orange one.
And finally, we faced the gatekeepers. The reality that your next job application is a game of keyword optimization, and your interview might be an audition for a camera that's analyzing your microexpressions.
It leaves us with a lot to take in, but I think the big takeaway for me is that NLP it's the bridge. It's the thing that connects our messy, emotional human world with the machine world of pure logic and data.
That's right. It makes technology intuitive, it makes it easier for us, but it requires us to adapt. We have to learn how to prompt, how to verify, and, well, clearly, how to apply for jobs in this new ecosystem.
Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As we move toward this world where an AI is analyzing our facial expressions during a job interview, we really have to ask ourselves, are we actually hiring the best person for the job? Or are we just hiring the person who's best at performing for the algorithm?
That is the question of the decade.
Thanks for taking this deep dive into the brain of the machine with us. We'll catch you next time.